Hi, I'm Dr. Sam Charles. For 30 years, I have been practicing functional medicine and gentle chiropractic. Elkton Chiropractic Neurology is dedicated to enhancing whole body rejuvenation, whether or not you are afflicted with injury or disease. We utilize a structural, neurologic, metabolic, nutritional, and energetic approach to restoring your body to its full potential.
After coming to Dr. Charles, I'm better than I was before.
You deserve to feel good and to have an active lifestyle, so why not call Elkton Chiropractic Neurology today?
Hello, Cecil County and the world, and welcome to Cecil.tv. Cecil Weekly, it's January the 22nd, and we have quite a few important announcements tonight, but we're going to get to them later because tonight our first guest is on a mission. Josh Hayhurst from Superdojo Studios. Josh, welcome. It's flu season. That's how we shake
That's
now.
right.
So, you are a martial arts instructor, and you had a brainstorm about how to help kids in some dangerous situations.
Right.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your dojo and how you got started in martial arts?
Sure. Well, it was just like word of mouth, like this event. I had one of my mom's friends invited me to come take class, and I stuck with it ever since. So I started when I was 13. So a lot of people think that you have to be really young when you start, but you can start at any age.
Wow, that's awesome. And the style that your dojo teaches is a mixture, is that correct?
Right. It's a mix of martial arts. So for example, if there was a specific style to this type of event that we're going to be hosting, it might not be as practical. So we need to think more open about self-defense instead of just it being like a karate style or taekwondo style or something.
And the self-defense that you're going to be, the event's February 3rd. Tell us about the event.
So we're calling it a stranger awareness seminar, and it's divided up by kids' ages because we need to focus more on their stage of development. So when it comes to kids who are like 7 or 10, they're sitting at the bus stop by themselves, they're waiting. So a stranger coming up to them could mean something different than a little kid who wants to talk to everybody when they're at Walmart.
Right.
A kid who's 3 years old wants to give any person a hug, you know,
right,
so
sure.
that could be it. So every single age group or stage of development, we're going to focus on it in a different way.
I see here on this paper you have 7 and older, 3 and 4 year olds, and 5 and 6.
Right.
And this event, you're going to teach children how to be aware of strangers and what to do.
Right.
Maybe even some martial arts.
Yeah, definitely going to do some physical self-defense too. But when I was a kid, everyone used to say, don't talk to strangers. And then I thought, that doesn't make sense because how do you like meet new people? How do you make friends? So for someone who's really young, if you just tell them, don't ever talk to strangers, how does that apply when they keep that in their head all the way up until they're a teenager? Sometimes they don't develop socially because they're afraid to talk to somebody, you know?
Right.
How many times have you been at Wawa getting a coffee and you just strike up a conversation or just say hi to the person next to you? Well, that's a stranger. So sometimes there's a good stranger, sometimes there's a bad stranger, and we really want to make sure every kid is clear. This is how you meet new people, and these are the people that you maybe don't talk to unless your mom or dad's around.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I can remember reading the different articles in the paper about, you know, the kids saw a car come up recently here, even down in Perryville, and different places as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I try to be as connected as possible. And there's a majority of the Facebook pages, like the Northeast Maryland group page or the Rising Sun group page. There's always something in it, probably at least once a month, where someone says, this was reported, you know, be on the lookout, or they caught the person that we were, you know, suspicious of, and this is, you know, all the things that they found out about the person. So already we have a little bit of a neighborhood watch throughout the entire county, which is awesome, you know? But what do kids do in that moment? That's what we want to address.
And this event, again, is February 3rd at your Superdojo, which is where?
It's 1005 Elk Mills Road, so it's at the corner of Appleton and Elk Mills. Really close to Delaware, really close to PA.
Okay, okay.
And easy to get to, right off 95.
Right.
So yeah, we are called Superdojo, and you know, we focus on the different age groups like that, which is unique because you said you used to do martial arts in the past, and
Many
your
years
son
ago,
did.
yes.
So a lot of times it's organized by belts or experience level, but in my opinion, I think a 3 and 4 year old think the same, whether they're a yellow belt or white belt or whatever. So we should focus on their stage of development.
Right. And this makes entirely good sense. February 3rd, and there's no cost?
There is no cost. So it's complimentary based off of the labor that we're going to put out. We're going to do this for the community. And the Boys and Girls Club of Cecil County is going to help us promote it too.
That was my next point. The Boys and Girls Club is involved. And how does a family register their kid to get involved in this training?
The best way to get the information that we're talking about outside of this actual video is to go to our Facebook page. So you'll just search for Superdojo Martial Arts, and in the event page, you'll see the 3 different time slots, and then people can just RSVP. And if you do, I'll contact you directly so that we could talk about like what you would like to accomplish and get some more details about each family. Of course, setting up rapport. Doing an event like this is a little weird, so we want to make sure that families feel comfortable, they know what they're going to get into, and they know who the instructors are before they even show up.
They could phone video these trainings as well?
They could, yeah,
and
definitely.
that way they reinforce it at home.
Definitely.
Or maybe the kid might want to come to Superdojo and take lessons.
Yeah, and anybody that attends will offer a discount, or for them to take a group class the next week, they're welcome to.
Well, I might just have to come up there and resume my training from many, many years ago.
I hope you do.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh no, the furnace is on the fritz again.
This time I'm calling the moon.
Wow, he's here already?
At your service. There you go. Mission accomplished. Our house is nice and warm again. Thanks, Moon Man.
You're awesome.
You're welcome. Just go to moonairinc.com.
For out of this world service, moonairinc.com.
Architects, library leaders, and the public came together this past Thursday at Northeast's Town Hall to find out how people use public library resources and what they would like to see when Northeast's new library is completed. Architect Jeffrey Hoover detailed the many questions that needed to be answered before a final design is
So how do we
reached.
begin to understand enough about the community and the library to create sort of the right solution? Well, this is where we start. Right now, we don't understand enough to design your library. We could start designing today if we did, but we have to go through a process to get there. And so I would say, yeah, we're going to get there. There are a lot of questions we have, and we're going through working with the library to answer a lot of those. A lot of questions such as these, where are we going to put teams? What service model are we going to use for reference services? Will there be a makerspace in the context of this building? How are you going to accommodate, large groups running over hours? Is coffee going to be in the library? Quiet studies? How much collaboration space do we need? Is it an early learning center in the context of the children's library, etc.? But the last question I think we already know the answer to is how important is community involvement, and the answer is to that. Of course, community involvement is essential, and that's why we're glad you're here.
Cecil County Public Library Director Morgan Miller explains that input is being sought and consideration is being given to a wide range of expected library users.
We've just begun what is really one of the most critical, but also one of the most exciting parts of the progress of designing a new library, which is to go directly to our citizens within the community and to engage them around discussions about what do they want to see in the new library, what are the goals for themselves, for their community that they want to meet. So we've done that in a variety of ways. We've had town hall meetings with all members of the public. This morning we have a really wonderful story time going on where our architects are talking with the parents of young children. We also had a meeting with early childhood partners and providers, since children's services, particularly early childhood, are going to be a big focus of this new library. We're talking to teens through the Boys and Girls Club and at the high school. Yesterday we had a wonderful session with 5th graders at Northeast Elementary and with the business community through the Northeast Chamber. Architecture isn't just about buildings. More importantly, I think it's about people. And in order to design the best Northeast library that is going to suit the needs of its citizens and users for decades to come, the ideas really have to come from them, and we can work to finesse them into a really effective library.
Architect Jeffrey Hoover says that when creating a new library, you must build on what's working now as well as fulfilling unmet needs.
Partly that's valuable to us because the community has experience with the existing library system and the particular Northeast Library, so we can benefit from their feedback about what really works well at the existing facility, so we don't sort of throw the baby out with the bathwater, and also what they are missing in their experience at the current library that they may be seeing in other libraries, or maybe they're not seeing anywhere else. So the community feedback to us is really important in order to craft the library in a way that is particularly responsive to community needs. That's the fundamental.
Cecil County Public Library is looking for your input also. You can help plan the new library by completing their online survey. Look for it at their website. Why should you advertise on Cecil.tv? Because it is a totally new and unique way to reach the thousands of viewers that watch our programming. Plus, you'll be helping us grow as we expand our coverage. We have exciting plans, and your business or organization can be part of it. You will find our packages and rates to be refreshingly affordable, and we'll work with you to create a fresh and dynamic ad that says and shows what your business is about. Ask us how to get your commercial produced for free, so contact us on our website, Cecil.tv, or send an email to info@Cecil.tv. Thank you.
And now for tonight's announcements. It is flu season, and you have to take precautions. Number one, get a flu shot. If you haven't gotten a flu shot, you can still get one. I went in to the local Martin's Pharmacy in Rising Sun, and it was painless. It didn't hurt. I didn't cry. It took maybe 2 minutes. I filled out a little questionnaire, something like this, and sat down, and the nurse gave me a shot. And it didn't make me sick. I can't say what it's going to do for anybody else, but odds are it's going to help you if you get the flu and hopefully prevent you from getting the flu. So there's still time. The season's going to last a couple months. Get a flu shot. The CDC has this to offer, and you can check the CDC Centers for Disease Control and Prevention website for flu guidelines. Number one, you may have the flu and not even know it. You're contagious for the first few days. So stay away from people who are sick, and if you're sick, stay home. Take your sick days. Now, that's all for the flu. Let's hope nobody gets it. Here's an announcement regarding Mike Dixon, who's a regular guest on our show. The esteemed historian Mike Dixon has a teaching obligation on Monday night, so he's going to not be able to join us in the studio for a while, but he's going to be preparing historical reports that will be airing in the near future. He wanted us to make sure you guys know this. We want Mike back, and he's inspired me to wear a bow tie every now and then. So he's just a great guy, and we will be glad to see some pre-filmed stuff from Mike Dixon. Singerly Fire Hall. There's a lot going on this weekend. Singerly Fire Hall this weekend will be having the Paper Americana event, as they do every year, January 27th, with books, advertising, postcards, photographs, you name it, they have it. Cecil.tv may even see you there. Now, you have dinner options for Saturday. Freedom Hills Therapeutic Riding will be having their annual auction at Rising Sun Banquet Hall. That's a fundraiser for them. It's Bring on the 60s. That's the theme for the event. So go out there and have a flashback and a dinner and a wonderful time to support Freedom Hills Therapeutic Riding. You can still get tickets at www.freedomhills.org, their website. I want to reiterate something Tom was saying about the Robert Burns Supper. I have here the menu. Cockaliki soup, green salad, haggis, clapshot, which is something you got to taste to try, shepherd's pie, brine salmon, breads and shortbread, eggnog, tea and coffee, craft beer, Scottish whiskey from you-know-where, and Cranachan ice cream. You don't want to miss it. And you don't want to miss Cecil.tv. Tell your friends, neighbors, and family to watch Cecil.tv. We've got big things happening, and we want to get you involved. Thank you. And now from the Cecil Land Trust, let's welcome Tom Hannum. Tom, you know it's flu season. Got to be safe. Anyway, there's going to be a lot of people getting together this weekend coming up, right?
Yes, we are celebrating Robert Burns. He was a poet and a farmer, so it fits into the Land Trust.
The celebration will entail a dinner in Fairhill somewhere?
It's going to be at the Ed Wall Center on the Fairhill property. And we're going to have entertainment, bagpipes. Robert Burns was a Scottish poet and, like I said, a farmer. And he was known as a plowman's poet.
Right.
And we expect to have 250 to 300 people there, so it's going to be a fairly large event.
Yeah, and it sounds great. Traditional food, and I looked at the article in the Cecil Wig, and I saw people with kilts and the haggis, which is probably something everyone should probably try, and a lot of other good stuff. And my buddy Brian playing the bagpipes, Brian McCandless. I imagine there's going to be good music and good food, and you're going to talk a little bit maybe amongst yourselves about preserving land in Cecil County.
Yeah, I mean, the focus of this dinner is to celebrate the food that's raised on the land. So the food that we're going to eat and serve is going to be local food.
Right.
And you're going to know where that food comes from. And it's a celebration that the Scottish had. He was 1600s, that's when he lived. And they celebrate it in small communities. But the food, like I say, is going to be local food and Scottish food. And it should be a treat for everybody that comes.
And it helps the Cecil Land Trust. Tell us a little bit about Cecil Land Trust.
The Cecil Land Trust has been around for 20 years, and we try to preserve farmland in the county. There's a lot of other organizations that preserve forests and other areas, but our main focus is farmland. Has to be at least 50 acres or more to preserve, and it has to be good soil. So when we look at properties, and we've identified 250 properties in the county that can be eligible for preservation. And we look at the soil. We also look at the stewardship the farmers have done on the property. And we have an evaluation form that we evaluate the farms to determine who gets preserved, and we can help.
Right, and you're on the board.
I'm on the board of directors, and we have about 10 people. And as I indicated before, the Land Trust has been around about 20 years. And right now we have about 30 properties in preservation. Some of these properties we have bought the easements, so the farmer has benefit. For a lot of them, it's allowed them to keep the farm and the property, or in their families. We also have properties that are just donated. People out of the goodness of their heart and want to preserve the land, and they donate the properties.
And preserving the land entails also continuing to work it as a farm, correct?
Yes, we do monitor the farms, the properties every year. So we go around, photograph, make sure that they adhere to our standards, that they don't build on the properties. And they're good stewards of the properties. They prevent erosion and manage your properties.
It sounds great, and we need that, and it saves the bay.
Oh, the Chesapeake Bay people just love us, because once a property is put in preservation, the bay doesn't have to worry about it. And the soil conservation in the county does a tremendous amount of work to prevent erosion and to enrich the land.
Well, with 3,000 acres already in preservation, you're always looking for more. How could someone who has a 50-acre plus farm and who wants to put it in the Cecil Land Trust, how would they go about doing that?
Well, they can contact us. We're kind of taking the next step forward. We have hired a director within the last year and an assistant to her. So we are really taking the next step into the future. And we have a web page that's very good. On that web page, it not only tells people to how they can help and benefit us, but also talks to the property owners. So there's a section in the web page they can click on and go. Tonight we are having a meeting, and we, I think, have 40 or 50 people. I stopped by there, and that meeting is going to tell those people how they can preserve the land and what advantages. And there are a lot of advantages. There's monetarily, we just got $1.8 million from the state to preserve land. So
and, yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of money, and and there's tax advantages too. I mean, the state and the federal government and the county all want to preserve the land.
It's a great It's a great endeavor. And folks, it starts with a dinner this Saturday, 6 to 10 at Fairhill Nature Center, Ed Walls Activity Center, correct?
Yes, and we are going to have beer from Fire Tower Brewery, and also the traditional whiskey that the Scottish and Robert Burns took of whiskey quite a bit in his day.
It's a win-win-win. And fast forwarding to April,
yes.
You have an event coming up?
Yeah, we have Cycle for Cecil, which is sponsored by the Land Trust, and it features different locations in Cecil County, and we have 15 35 and 60-mile route. And you can get that on our webpage, and it's a great event. We have people from Virginia, from New Jersey, and all over, and of course, a lot of people from Cecil County.
Might have to roll with you. Tom, thank you, and thank you, Cecil Land Trust.
Well, thank you for having us here.
This week, we introduced Cecil TV's Animal of the Week segment. We traveled to Cecil County Animal Services to meet this honored canine and the dedicated people who run CCAS.
Hi, my name is Tiffany, and I am the Outreach Coordinator here at Cecil County Animal Services. Here at Cecil County Animal Services, we are Cecil County's only open admission shelter. And what that means is that we take in all animals in Cecil County who need a home. We are located at 3280 Augustine Herman Highway in Chesapeake City, Maryland. The building that we are in was formerly the SPCA. However, Cecil County no longer has a SPCA, and we are operated under Cecil County government. We offer our shelter as well as animal enforcement officers who go out and maintain our animal welfare laws in the community. Here we meet the standards as no-kill philosophy, which means that we maintain over a 90% release rate.
And then it was time to meet Farrah, a lovable dog who was looking for a loving home.
So Farrah here, she has been in and out of shelters her whole life. She was first at Buddy's for about 3 years, and then she came to us. No fault of her own, it's just always kind of bad situations that she's been in. She loves taking all the attention from other dogs, and she's definitely a cuddle bug, so sometimes being on the couch isn't such a great thing. You know, she's a very chill dog. She just loves to have attention all the time, and she loves treats. Farrah, do you know that's your dog of the week? Dog of the week. Do you? Huh? She says yeah. Come on. She's an overall good dog. She's great in basic obedience. She does some tricks. She does like to sit pretty a lot of times. Are you gonna be shy now? You can't be shy. If somebody was interested in her, what we would do is set up a meet and greet, you know, make sure that she's right and fit for the home. We definitely don't want to set her up for failure anymore, so the next time she goes to a home, it's got to be the right home. She's up to date on all of her shots. She's spayed and ready to go.
All of our adoptable animals have a microchip, the rabies vaccine, and all age-appropriate shots and spay-neuter.
Come here. You're just gonna steal it from me? I don't get it. So I'm Brittany, and my friend here is Farrah. What I do here at Cecil County Animal Services is I'm animal care and behavior. So I've really focused on the day-to-day things with all the animals. A little bit of the cats, mostly the dogs. Any issues that they came in with prior, whether they got them from being pinned up, from just not doing well with other dogs. We also do some basic obedience with them, from the sits and the downs. And some trick training. Some of the dogs can really pick up on giving paw and rolling over and all that stuff. So it's kind of fun for them at the same time. Can't make them work all the time, then they wouldn't enjoy it. Once we work with their behavior modifications and we think they're to the point that they can be adopted out, they can move her to the adopt side. If they aren't exactly there yet and they need a little bit more work, we will send them to appropriate rescues to further their training in order to be adopted out to appropriate family.
And so, tune in next week for another edition of Cecil TV's Animal.